Hello, welcome to the Improve Your Flute channel and thank you for clicking on this video. I am a classical player who has been playing and performing flute for a while now, and today I'll be talking about some ways that you can improve your flute practice today. Of course, the tips that I'm going to be talking about are quite general, so you should always consult with your personal flute teacher to come up with a tailored plan that works for you. Here are just some tips that have worked great for me, but they might not necessarily have the same effect for you. They're just ideas to think about. The first thing you can do to improve your flute playing is to come up with a practice plan. Now, this practice plan doesn't have to be written down, but I do find that it's a little bit easier to keep track of all the things that I need to practice if I can see them visually. So my brain has selective memory, and sometimes in a practice session I'll find that I end up only practicing certain things that I like and neglecting other things that I don't. So to combat this, I try to put in place a practice plan to keep me focused. So the key is to have a structure in place so that you don't end up spending more time than you need to on nailing down certain skills. Personally, I physically just can't get through everything on my practice list in one day. So what I like to do is split my list across 2 to 3 days. That way I'll be satisfied in knowing that I've dedicated enough time to really working on each piece and each excerpt lists in great detail. This way I'll avoid leaving pieces out because I won't be playing through everything in the same order every day. The second thing you can do to improve your practice is to split up your session into different sections. Now, splitting up your practice into different sections will not only help you stay focused, but it'll also make sure that you don't accidentally spend too much time working on one particular aspect of your flute playing and neglecting the others. So for example, I would love to spend all of my practice session playing beautiful music that I'm preparing for my recital, but in just doing that, I would be neglecting other aspects of my playing, such as tone, technique, articulation, my sight reading skills, orchestral acceptance and such. So having a very clear, structured practice session can help you stay focused and practice as efficiently as possible. I do have a video that I uploaded a while ago with a couple of ideas on how you can structure your practice. So if you'd like to head over to that video, I do share with you some ideas on how you can structure a practice session depending on what level of player you are. The third thing you can do to improve your flute practice is to write down a list of all the repertoire and excerpt lists that you need to prepare within the next 6 to 8 months, and prioritize the pieces that need to be ready by a closer date, or any of the pieces that are more technically difficult. Having a list of the things that I need to work on within the next 6 to 8 months gives me a better idea on how I should be structuring my practice and how each of my practice sessions will work towards a bigger picture across 6 months. This way you can visually keep track on all the things you need to be working on and avoid accidentally missing or neglecting any repertoire that you need to learn. Now, the fourth thing is to record yourself, and I know you've probably heard this from a lot of different people. A lot of different teachers often tell us that we should record ourselves. I absolutely hate it. Plus, it just adds so much more pressure to an otherwise quite comfortable practice session. But if you are able to listen with some objective ears, you may discover things that you didn't even realize you were doing. It can end up adding so much productivity to your practice. The recording allows you to hear your playing for what it really is, and it helps you pick up on things that you would have never discovered in the moment of playing yourself. Professional musicians often use this as a way of getting constructive feedback in addition to playing in front of someone else. So often we get caught up on fixing little details that we can lose sight of the piece as a whole. I am personally so guilty of this. When you get used to playing in a little box or by yourself, not a care in the world, it can be very, very daunting when all of a sudden you're put in front of 30 to 50 people and you need to just deliver. Especially during this time when so many of us are in lockdown and playing by ourselves, it can be really easy to neglect practicing your performance skills. So it definitely can be useful to dedicate a couple of sessions during the week to practice playing through a certain piece or an excerpt list from start to finish. When you set your intention to practice performing, try to resist going back and fixing something if you make a mistake. This way you can get the best simulation on what it's like to perform in front of a live audience. Plus, you can always just go back and work on whatever you want when you head back into practice mode. You can use the camera as an audience, and plus the bonus is that you can always listen back to your run-throughs. Most often I found that the mistakes that I thought were really obvious weren't actually that obvious at all, and it actually would have been a shame for me to stop my performance just because of the one slip up. So these are the 5 tips that I found have really improved my flute practice, and I hope that they bring you some results too. As always, thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, and because you've made it this far, feel free to leave me a comment below on any questions you have on flute playing or any topics you'd like me to address in any future videos. Until next time, stay well and happy fluting. And in terms of, what am I saying? Oh my god. Professional musicians is to split up